Stretch and Flow since lockdown, which is exciting. If you're new around here, I'm Hannah. I'm one of the personal trainers and instructors at Underground Gym in Tunbridge Wells. And we'll get started with our practice. So obviously we haven't been doing this for the last 4 months. So we're going to ease into it. There'll be a little bit of a strong flow in there. But I just want to focus on getting the body moving because it's been hard to stay motivated in lockdown. Everybody's been there, so don't feel bad about that. Make sure you've got your mat ready. You won't need anything else, but we're going to start just by tapping into the breath and the body, just becoming present before we get moving. So in your own time, just come down to a laying position on the mat, just on your back. And you can either have your feet on the floor with your knees bent, or you can take them out onto the mat. Just make sure your hands are either side of your body. Try and have the palms facing up if you can, if it's comfortable. And just gently closing off the eyes. So we're just going to slow down the breath. Slow down the body. And slow down our minds. With everything being up in the air at the moment, we tend to focus on what's been happening, what might happen, but right now I want to focus on the now. So just forget anything that's been going on this week, and that's been going on today, and forget anything that you're thinking about doing or having to go through. Maybe tomorrow, next week. Just focus on the now. So drawing nice deep breaths in through the nose. I want you to breathe all the way down to the belly. So past the chest, feel that belly expand. And then breathing back out through the nose. Just feeling the body soften. Drawing that breath in all the way to the top. Just let it go. Just allow the shoulders to melt into the mat. Try and stay focused on that breath, focus on that inhale, notice everything expanding. If your mind starts to wander or get distracted, just bring it back to the breath. Really pushing that air out of the belly and out of the chest as you exhale. We're going to do one more. Keeping the eyes closed for now. We're just going to lift the feet off the ground, so bending the knees if they're not already. And just giving your knees a little hug, pulling them towards your chest, not fighting against them. You might want to take a little rock side to side and just massage the lower back into the floor. Just loosening up any tightness you might have around there. Letting the knees come back to the middle. Just keep them there. We're going to take the arms out to the side, but we're going to have our arms in a cactus shaped position. So our elbows are bent, they're at a 90-degree angle with our palms facing up, just to open up the chest. And we're just going to let the knees fall over to the left and our head just naturally fall over to the right. So you'll start to feel a chest stretch here, as well as it loosening up your lower back. We're going to stay here for 4 breaths. So keep that breath in and out the nose. Really breathe into that side of the body. Inhaling right to the top. Just let it loosen the back, the torso. next inhale, just lifting the legs back to the middle. And exhale, let them go over to the right hand side. And your head will fall to the left. Try and keep the knees together if you can. Just enjoy that chest stretch. Trying to keep the shoulders on the floor. 4 deep breaths here. One more breath. And on your next inhale, just bring the knees back to the middle. Just let your breathing come back to normal. So we're just going to take our hands onto the knees and we're going to start to circle the hips and the knees. So circling outwards. We're not trying to force the hips to open, we are trying to encourage them just to loosen up. Just drawing nice big circles, or as big as you can. You'll notice the lower back as well, it's getting a little massage. Try and keep those shoulders on the floor. And then we're going to change direction with the circles, so now we're going to push out and bring the knees round. Might be a few clicks, and that's fine, that's why we're doing it. Bringing the knees back to the middle. So we're just going to open the knees just sort of hip width apart, and we're going to take the feet up. So we're going to come into a happy baby. So our feet stay flexed here, and we're going to take the outside of the feet. Gently bend the elbows and just encourage the knees down to the armpits. So we're not trying to fight against the feet, but we should feel a nice hamstring stretch. Think about pushing your heels up towards the ceiling and trying to keep the shoulders relaxed on the floor, keep the neck relaxed. We're not trying to fight against that tension we're creating. You can also rock side to side if you'd like to. Nice deep breaths. You might be feeling a little tight in the hips and the hamstrings, particularly if you're working from home and you're sitting down a lot. One more breath. And just gently bending the knees, bringing the feet back down. And we're just going to take a little rock. So we're going to eventually come to standing, but I just want you to get some movement in the body. Have your hands either side of the legs. You might want to challenge yourself, try not to get your feet on the floor. See if you can get the feet overhead. And when you're ready, just coming up to standing at the top of the mat. It's just shaking legs, shaking arms. I'll face you for this one. If you stay facing the top of the mat, we're just going to stretch the neck. So have your feet in neutral. So standing nice and straight, relax the shoulders. And just drop your chin to your chest. So just opening up the back of the neck. And we're just going to draw a semicircle from shoulder to shoulder. So keeping the back of the neck open. Try and keep the rest of your body still. And use your breath just to move your head side to side. Get to your shoulder the next time, we're then going to arc our chin upwards. So we're still creating a semicircle, but we're now opening up the front of the neck. So drawing shoulder to shoulder. And There might be a few clicks and crunches. That's what we're trying to work out before we start our practice. And then coming back to neutral, we're just going to take ear to shoulder. So try not to bring your shoulder up to your ear, just relax them and take your ear down to your shoulder. Gently back to the middle and over to the other side. So start to feel those chunky muscles in our neck and our traps. Start to stretch out a little bit. One more on each side. And I'm just going to turn to face the top of my mat so we can mirror each other. So we're going to take a forward fold. So I want you to tuck the chin down and start to roll down the spine. Nice and slowly. You can add a slight bend into the knees. But try and keep the legs as straight as possible because we want to create a little stretch down the back of the legs. Just let the arms hang, the neck hang, shoulders relax. And keep some weight in your toes as well. You can gently rock side to side, loosen up the lower back. You don't have to, you can stay still. A couple of breaths here. Think about pressing those big toes down into the floor. Start to feel the hamstrings wake up. And what I'd like to do is just gently bend the knees so we can come closer to the floor enough to place our hands on the mat. And we're just going to step our feet to the back of the mat. So we're in high plank, we're just going to walk through, wake up the calves a little bit, wake up the shoulders. And when you're ready, just gently pressing back into a downward dog. So we're just going to ease into this because it might be the first downward dog you've done of the day. So just walking through the feet, pressing one heel down at a time. Doesn't matter if your feet can't touch the mat. We're just encouraging that stretch by pressing that heel down. So in your downward dog, just make sure your fingers are spread nice and wide. And you're really pushing your hips up and backwards. So we're trying to get the chest towards the thighs. Okay, we're going to step the right foot forward in between the hands and then just drop the back knee. The left hand is going to place, we're going to place it on the inside of the foot. So we can press into that hand and lift the right arm up. Just turning to look at the hand, getting a slight twist in the torso. Bringing the hand down, framing that front foot. We're going to step back into downward dog. Nice deep breaths here, just let the head hang. And then stepping the left foot forward in between the hands, dropping the back knee, and then taking the left arm up and looking to the hand. So those muscles around your neck and your shoulder, try and keep them relaxed. So try not to hunch here. We want to let them release. If that's particularly difficult, you can take your hand onto your thigh and just encourage your body to turn around. One more breath. And bringing the hand down. We're going to step back into downward dog. Walking through the feet. You might want to move side to side, wake up the shoulders, shake the head, let it hang. And then we're going to drop down into child's pose, but take the knees as wide as your mat, untuck your toes, and try and glue that bum to the feet. It will naturally start to rise, but just think about lengthening that spine, taking your arms up above the head and just relaxing your head down onto the mat. We're going to take 6 deep belly breaths like we did at the beginning in this position. It's just drawing your breath through the nose again, all the way down to the belly. One more breath. Keeping your body where it is, we're just going to come up onto our fingertips, and you can gently lift the head off the mat. Try not to strain too far forward because that'll put a bit of pressure into your neck. So just lifting the head up off the floor, letting that chest fall towards the floor, just opening up the tops of the shoulders, around the lats. We're going to take 4 breaths. Really trying to expand that rib cage. Feel those little muscles just stretching with our breath. One more. Just gently coming back down onto the hands, relaxing the head. Very, very slowly, we're going to make our way back to downward dog. That's just coming onto all fours. You might want to tuck the toes under, gently press back. So I want you to get comfortable here, get nice and stable. We're going to take 10 presses. So when I say press, we're going to bend the knees so our chest comes down towards the thighs and our legs are hovering above the floor. Then we exhale, come back to downward dog, look towards the thighs. So let's take 10. So breathing in and exhale up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You might be slipping down the mat like I am. It's very, very warm. 6, 7. Feel those shoulders warm up. 8, 9, one more, and 10, staying downward dog. We'll start our first flow really slowly. Nice deep breaths. So I'd like to inhale as you lift the right leg up, coming into 3-legged dog. Exhale, swing it forward and place between the hands at the back. Now we're going to turn the back foot out so that our foot is flat. But what we don't want is to turn it out to a full 90-degree angle because that's going to put a lot of pressure on the knee. So try and have your toes 45 degrees facing towards the direction of the top left-hand corner of your mat. So once you're comfortable here, we're then going to lift the arms up behind us. So we're keeping a lunge in that front leg, coming up into warrior 1. Inhale, lift up out the torso, start to straighten that front leg. Exhale, open the arms into warrior 2, lunge forward. Relax around the shoulder area and just make sure, you might want to look to your back arm. Your arms are nice and even. So we're now going to gaze over the front hand. We're going to turn the front hand up so the palm is facing up, keeping our legs where they are, leaning back, coming into a crescent. So our left hand is touching our leg at the back, looking up to the right arm. Slowly coming back to warrior 2. And then we're going to windmill the hands over that front leg, step it back into a downward dog. From here, we're going to vinyasa. So we're going to inhale as we uncurl through the spine, coming into a high plank. Exhale as you drop to the knees, slowly lower the chest, down into press. Inhale, lifting the chest, upward facing dog. Exhale, tuck the toes under, come back into downward facing dog. Just walking through the feet again, before we repeat on the other side. Okay, inhale, lift that left leg this time into three-legged dog. Exhale, bring it forward, place it in between the hands at the back. We're going to turn the back foot out 45 degrees. So make sure you can still get a lunge in that front leg. Lift the arms up, coming into warrior one. So really lifting the arms up here like someone's pulling the fingers. Relax the shoulders. Inhale, straighten that front leg, turn the torso, open the arms. Exhale, lunging forward, warrior two. So soft gaze over the front hand. Turn the front palm up, and then leaning back into a crescent. So following your hand with your eyes. Baby back bend here. Lower body stays where it is. Gently coming back to warrior two. And then we're going to windmill the hands over that front foot. Step it back into downward dog. Inhale, uncurl through that spine, coming into a high plank. Exhale, you can either drop to the knees or you can slowly go down to press. Inhale, lift the chest. Squeeze the glutes, upward facing dog. Exhale, tuck the toes under. Downward facing dog. Walk it through the feet. Gently dropping the knees back to our child's pose just to recover, and then we're going to start to strengthen the next flow, adding in an extra move. It's just coming down onto the mat. You can have a little bend in the arms if that's comfortable. Let's take 5 deep breaths. One more breath. Gently coming out of child's pose. You can either come up onto all fours or walk the hands back to the body. And we're going to move back to our downward dog. So we're going to do the same flow as we did before, but we're going to start to increase the intensity, only if you'd like to. Add a little bit of strength into the game. So starting in your downward dog. Inhale, lift your right leg up into three-legged dog. Exhale, swing it forward, bend that knee, and place that foot down in between the hands. Turn the back foot out. Inhale, lift the arms up, coming into warrior one. So really lunging forward this time. Ground yourself through your feet. Hold. Inhale, straighten that front leg, lift up out the torso. Exhale, warrior two. So lunge a little bit deeper this time. Turn that front palm up. Inhale to be back bend, coming into crescent. Bringing that arm back down, hold warrior two. Frame that front foot, windmill the hands. Step back into downward dog. So now we're going to vinyasa, but this is where we're going to bring in that extra move if we want to. We can either roll through the spine as we did before, or we're going to lift the right leg up into three-legged dog again, bending that knee. So really using that glute to keep that leg nice and high. Then we're going to uncurl through the spine and either drop to the knees or lower to press, keeping that glute nice and strong. Let that leg stay high, down into scorpion. Inhale, lift the chest, upward facing dog. Exhale, tuck the toes under, downward facing dog. Breathe. We're going to go again on the other side. Inhale, lift that left leg Exhale, swing it forward, place it down in between the hands. Turn that back foot out. Lift the arms into warrior one. So lunging forward. Relax around the shoulders and the neck. Inhale, straighten that front leg, lift up out the torso. Exhale, open the arms, warrior two. Turn that front palm up, baby back bend into crescent. Coming back to warrior two, hold. Frame that front foot, windmill the hands, step back into downward dog. Option to take the vinyasa flow with both feet on the floor, or we're going to inhale, lift that back left leg, bend the knee. Uncurl through the spine, keep that leg nice and high. Coming into high plank, drop to the knees, or lower to press. And let the leg come down last. Inhale, lift the chest. Exhale, tuck the toes under, downward dog. Now we're going to step to the top end of the mat. So we can then come down into a seated position and just have our legs out in front of us. So give them a little shake. Nice strong flow in the legs there. But I appreciate that it might have been the most we've done in a few months. So you've done the hard work, guys, well done. Slow breath down. And we're going to take a forward fold here. So make sure your quads are switched on. Best way to do that is flex the feet. So as if you're trying to get your toes to your shin. We're then going to reach up out the torso, fold forward and over the hips forward. So if you can't touch your feet, completely fine. Come to calves, come to thigh if you need to. Oh, I've got a nice fly joining me here. So just forward fold and just breathe. So not trying to fight anything here. Instead of pulling yourself down so your back rounds, think about sending the crown of your head, the top of your head away from you, so your back's staying nice and straight. We're going to take 5 more breaths. One more breath. Just gently unrolling the spine, coming back to the seated position. We'll take a little twist. So let's take the left leg over the right. So plant that left foot on the floor. And then we're going to take the right arm back into our cactus position like we did at the beginning. Like get it on the thigh of that left leg. So our left hand is going to come round and just encourage us to twist. Again, relax shoulders. Keep breathing into the rib cage. One more breath. Gently releasing that cactus arm and then coming back round to the front and we'll switch legs. So tucking that leg in as much as we can before we take the left arm to the outside of the right leg. Create that cactus position and then use the right arm to come round. Relaxing around the shoulders. then just gently coming back round, releasing the cactus arm. And we're going to bring the knees up so our feet are on the floor. Let's do a little bit of a test on your core strength and see where we're at after lockdown. So I'd like to come into boat pose. So we're going to have our hands out nice and strong, focusing on keeping our chest nice and proud. So what we don't want to do is allow our back to start to arch. We want to keep it nice and proud and have our legs up in front of us. I can already tell this is going to be a challenge for me. Knees at 90 degrees. And we're going to lower the left leg, hover it above the ground and come back up. Right leg, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, keep going, 16, 17, 18, one more on each leg, 19, and 20. Gently bring the feet back down. Give those legs a little shake. And we can move into the lovely part of the session, a nice relaxing bit. So I just want you to gently come down onto your back again. And you're going to straighten out your left leg and just interlace your fingers and place them around the shin of your right leg. And just keeping our body relaxed. So what we're going to do is we're going to encourage that leg towards us, but over to the left shoulder. So almost like it's at an angle. Let's get those glute muscles stretching out. Let those hips recover. You can shut off your eyes at this point if you like. We're not going to do any more strong flows. Gently releasing that right leg, taking it back down to the mat, and we're going to repeat the same on the left side. So just holding the shin, interlacing fingers, and just encouraging that leg over to the right hand shoulder. Gently releasing that left leg. We're going to bring both legs up and come back to our happy baby pose. So knees hip width apart, taking hold of the outside of the feet, or you can take your 2 forefingers and wrap them around the big toe, whatever you feel comfortable doing. Bend the elbows so you can encourage the knees down towards the armpits. Gently pushing the heels up to the floor, feeling that hamstring stretch. This is where we get to switch off for the weekend. So not forcing your body to stretch into positions it doesn't want to be in. Just be kind. Just take it to its limits that it wants to go to. Gently releasing the feet or the toes and bringing the feet onto the floor. So before we go into our meditation, make sure you're comfortable. You might want to take a pillow under the knees. You might want to have your knees bent. You may want your knees to fall out to the side and get a nice hip stretch. Or you can just take your legs out onto the mat. Just make sure you're comfortable. And just have your hands either side of your body. Just take them away from your body. So our body's nice and open. Just feeling that energy flow that we've just created through our practice. And remembering to breathe all the way down to our bellies. remembering to stay in this present moment. So not focusing on what we're going to do next after we finish this practice, not what we should have done today or earlier on in the week, just focusing on now, and focusing on just taking this time for yourself, just to slow down, just collect your thoughts and relax. Maybe just noticing how we're feeling, what that underlying emotion is. How are we feeling today? How are we feeling now we've moved our bodies? And just taking a gentle body scan, starting from the top of the head. So just noticing any tension you might be holding in your forehead, around the eyebrows, around the temples, in your jaw. You may want to wiggle your jaw gently side to side, just loosening it up. And just allowing your tongue to relax in your mouth. Completely softening the eyes, including the eyelids. Noticing the chest rise and fall as we breathe. And as it falls, just noticing the shoulders soften. The arms become heavy. The fingers and the hands become soft. Feeling our ribcage expand and our belly expand. Just noticing it totally deflate as we exhale. Just making sure our hips are comfortable. You may want to add a little bend into your knees if your legs are laying on the floor. You want to gently wiggle your hips side to side just to make sure your lower back's comfortable. And releasing any tension around the knees and the quad area. Just allowing our legs to be heavy. Toes and our feet are nice and soft. Inhale, I'd like you to breathe in for 3, 2, 1. Exhale for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. So in your own time, breathing in for 3. And then breathing out for the count of 5. Pause at the top of your breath. Just completely letting it go in that count of 5. Just noticing everything soften, everything falling into the ground beneath you. Just keeping that focus on your breath, on the counts. exhale, just going to gently bring some movement back into the body, so just wiggling fingers and toes. You may want to circle wrists and ankles. Very, very slowly, just bringing your knees back towards your chest and just giving them a little hug. When you're ready, you can gently open your eyes and just either roll onto your side or just come back up to a seated position. You can stay laying down if you'd prefer, but I'm gonna say goodbye here. Thank you very much for joining me. It's lovely to be back, and I hope it's not too long till we can all see each other again in the studio. But until then, it will be online. So the next one will be on Tuesday morning, Stretch and Flow, at 6:15 in the morning. So that's a nice gentle morning flow and stretch. And then I'll be back next Friday. So have a lovely